Oh! Have we got the
Patreon?
Yes! We've got a
Patreon!
Run, rabbit, run, rabbit, run, run, run. Run, rabbit,
Hello interwebs, it's Scott from Admiralty Entertainment, and today we're looking at the Marvel Legends Demogoblin series, White Rabbit, from Hasbro. Now, you could be forgiven for thinking that DC Comics had the lock on Wonderland-inspired villains, thanks to Batman Rogue the Mad Hatter, who debuted in 1948, and predating him with Tweedledum and Tweedledee way back in 1943. In fact, when it comes to White Rabbits, DC have had at least two characters under that same name, the antagonist for Steel, who first appeared in 1993, and the Batman villain that debuted in 2011. Marvel, however, got the jump, or is it hop, on their distinguished competition, debuting Dr. Lorena Dodson, aka the White Rabbit, in Marvel Team-Up number 131 from July 1983. You had 40 years DC, you snooze, you lose. A young woman bored with life but obsessed with Alice in Wonderland, Lorena was married off by her family to a very rich, very old, and, very shortly, very dead man, which would serve as apparently sufficient motivation for her turning to a life of costumed crime, adopting the terrifying visage of the White Rabbit.
Jesus Christ! I warned you!
She fought Spider-Man and Frogman, still waiting on that Marvel Legend Hasbro, and would then be absent from comic pages for nearly a decade before her next appearance. While she has popped up slightly more frequently since then, the White Rabbit remains a genuine C-list, or lower, villain, and a surprising but genuinely welcome addition to the Marvel Legends roster. The packaging falls in line with the standard Legends look we've had since the Mandroid series back in 2014. A black base colour scheme, assorted logos, a nameplate claiming her as Marvel's version, and a big window to view the figure and accessories within. The top of the box has the Spider-Man insignia, while both sides have the same artwork of the character. The back of the box has a heapin' helpin' of legalese, a cross-cell displaying the Demogoblin, and all the toys required to build his figure, Velocity Suit and Spider Armor Mark III Spider-Man from the PS4 Spider-Man game, the Superior Octopus, Vulture, our lady here, and Shang-Chi, Master of Kung Fu. Above that you have the publicity shot, accompanied by a brief bio. A brilliant woman with a twisted mind, Dr. Lorena Dodson is the deranged queen of crime, the White Rabbit. I think queen might be overstating her level of notoriety and importance in the Marvel criminal world just a tad, but moving on. Out of the box, accessories include a flaming goblin glider and a variable height flight stand, but those are intended for the Demogoblin Build-A-Figure rather than the bunny in the box. The White Rabbit does get a closed umbrella, and a blast effect that fits onto the tip, showing that Lorena was just as happy to copyright infringe on the Penguin as she was the estate of Lewis Carroll. Aww. This particular blast effect can be used with other Marvel Legends weapons with thin barrels, so it's nice to see some cross-compatibility being worked into the accessories. Do be careful when attaching or removing this blast effect from the umbrella though. The tip is made of a very pliable plastic which feels like it could rip or shear off quite easily. The figure itself is a clever mixture of new and reused parts. The entire jacket is repurposed from the Civil War Scarlet Witch from the Abomination series, and at a distance the detailing on the mould mimics texture enough to evoke the tweed material from the comics. At closer range, the more detailed textures give an almost PS4 game design, so you may be able to double up on purposes here as a result, at least until they release DLC or a sequel with her in it, dramatically changing her design. The chest comes from Monster Venom series Typhoid Mary. New boots, torso, head, and removable bow tie provide her with enough uniquely sculpted components to make her feel unique, and the only slight incongruity is the pelvic section having loops on the bustier while the chest section doesn't. Of course, that might be standard construction for such garments. I don't have enough experience with bustiers and corsets to tell you one way or the other. Otherwise, it works pretty nicely as a conglomeration of parts into a pretty seamless whole. The comic book design's colour palette is reflected accurately in the figure and really helps her pop on a shelf as Spider-Man villains. Most of the figure seems to be moulded in the appropriate colour, so paint apps are minimised, but what there is satisfactory. The colour wash in the hair is particularly effective, and the face paint is reasonably crisp, though the eyes do seem slightly askew. For articulation, it's a pretty standard rundown for a female Marvel legend. The head is somewhat restricted due to the hair, but there's swivel and hinge movement at the shoulders, single joint hinge and swivel elbows, swivel and hinge at the wrist, a torso cut, slightly inhibited by the jacket, ball joint at the hips, swivel at the top of the thigh, double joint at the knee, swivel at the top of the boot, and a hinge with swivel on the ankle. Given that she has no superhuman powers of agility or the like, it feels nearly sufficient for what the character needs in terms of posability, with the exception of the hands. The lack of either a tilting wrist or an alternate hand that would enable Lorena to specifically point her umbrella as a weapon is a big missed opportunity. That said, overall the White Rabbit here is a good addition to the Marvel Legends line. Not only do we get a reasonably deep dive into the pool of fairly obscure characters, but she's been pretty well executed. The score would definitely be high if she had at least one hand that can utilise the umbrella weapon in a more menacing fashion. But even as is, she makes a unique addition to your mid-tier Marvel villains. While many may be looking at her solely for customising potential to use with the classic Emma Frost head from the 2019 Walgreens exclusive, it'd be a disservice not to appreciate this figure on its own merits. So, those are my thoughts. What are yours? We're out of here for now, but be sure to like, share, comment and subscribe, and we'll nibble you next time. On Admiralty Entertainment.